What's going on, Dolphins fans? Jacob here, Mighty Dolphins syndicate. Yeah, I kind of kept saying that we were going to make a video about how the Dolphins can create more cap space, and I just, for some reason, kept procrastinating that. And then the Dolphins went ahead and made my job a lot easier by actually going out and doing it. Three players from Miami Dolphins have all seen their deals restructured to move most of it into a signing bonus, that being Teron Armstead, Tyreek Hill, Bradley Chubb. And that creates the Miami Dolphins around $44 million in cap space. So just first things first, what the actual moves were. So this is CBS Sports reporting based off of Adam Schefter report. Dolphins converting Tyreek Hill's $10 million roster bonus and $16 million salary into a $24.8 million bonus and just 1.1 in salary. That's saving the team $18 million. Dolphins creating 11.8 million in space with Teron Armstead, and cleared 14.65 million in cap space with Bradley Chubb. Almost said Nick Chubb. Bradley Chubb's restructuring. So that really was what we were looking for the Miami Dolphins to do. That, as well as this is before the release of Byron Jones, which is going to create even more cap space. As things stand, the Miami Dolphins currently sit ninth in the NFL in terms of total cap space. Chicago Bears, Atlanta Falcons, far clear from everybody else. 94 for the Bears, 62 from the Falcons. So the Miami Dolphins sitting at ninth right now with $28.5 million of open cap space to spend. And that's before we release Byron Jones. We did just re-sign Savon Ahmed, so he'll be returning. And there's some other moves. I'm very interested to see what happens with Emmanuel Ogbah now that we have Bradley Chubb, who we re-signed. We have Jalen Phillips. We'll see what happens if we bring back Melvin Ingram. There's moves to be made, and there's additions that are to be made. Obviously, there's our draft picks. We aren't going to have a first-round pick, so that does significantly lower the amount of money that we're going to be spending on our draft picks. However, there is money to spend, and there are positions of need to be spent. And the Dolphins have now created themselves some space to go out and do it. Talked yesterday about bringing in a middle linebacker, whether that be Bobby Wagner, whether that be Levante David. We definitely need to bring in another secondary piece, whether it be a corner, whether it be Jesse Bates, Jordan Poyer at safety. Receiver, probably need a better third receiver, a better slot receiver. Mike Gesicki's leaving, so we need a starting tight end. We need a left guard. We need a right tackle. We need a backup quarterback. There are many things we can spend money on. We need a running back. There are certainly aspects of this team that can get better and need to get better for the Dolphins going into next season. And there are guys out there that are going to be hitting the market. We've already talked about some of them. We've already talked about Jalen Ramsey. We've already talked about Bradley Chubb. We already talked about Bobby Wagner. We already talked about Levante David. There's receivers out there. There's backup quarterbacks out there. There are guys out there to be signed. And the Miami Dolphins are looking to go into this free agency period, again, ninth in cap space, before any additional moves besides these three moves, have the money to spend and have the opportunity now to pursue and be aggressive in the market. And that's what I expect the Dolphins to do. Last offseason, they went all in with Tua by going and getting Tyreek Hill, by going and getting Teron Armstead, Cedric Wilson, and the rest of the lot. I expect nothing short of that again this year. I don't think we're going to go out and trade for another one of the best receivers in the league. DeAndre Hopkins is available. Odell Beckham Jr. is available in free agency. Odell Beckham, that's actually possible, but I don't believe the Dolphins are attending his workout. I don't expect a move like Tyreek Hill that we saw last season. That's just not realistic. What is realistic is just continuing to fill out the team. Again, positions like right tackle, which are quintessential. Another secondary piece. A running back. Maybe not as much big names as we saw last offseason, but certainly we're going to be bringing in guys that are going to be able to start and put in work for the Miami Dolphins. That is without a doubt, that's what we're going to aim to do. We're not far off from being a contender. I mean, we made the playoffs last year. We really pushed the Buffalo Bills with just Skylar Thompson. We're not far off. Are we a Super Bowl roster today? No. We are not. I like Tua. I don't love Tua. We've talked about Tua a lot on this channel. I think we can win a Super Bowl with Tua. I think it is possible to win a Super Bowl with Tua. In order to do that, though, we are going to need to utilize these next 2 years, assuming he's on the team next year as well as this upcoming year, so next 2 years. We're going to have to utilize him being cheap. We're going to have to utilize not paying a quarterback a lot of money. We're seeing teams now how that's going to affect the team. Kansas City Chiefs are having to let Orlando Brown walk. New York Giants had to tag Saquon Barkley. The Buffalo Bills, who knows what they're going to be able to do in free agency. Jordan Poyer is going to have to walk at the very least. Tremaine Edmonds probably also going to walk for the Buffalo Bills. They're not able to retain their guys already, on top of the fact that they're probably not going to be able to bring in anybody else. This is a window that the Dolphins have to take advantage of and utilize. Look at the Eagles with Jalen Hurts. Now, Hurts is going into his final deal, being that he was a final year of his deal, being that he is a second-round pick. But they got to the Super Bowl because they could just throw assets all around him and stack up that team. This is what the Dolphins have to do in these next 2 off seasons. Put as much talent around Tua as possible. And if they do so, I do think we're in the Super Bowl conversation. I feel pretty comfortable about saying that. You don't go into Buffalo, lose by 3 with a third-string quarterback, and not feel great about yourself going into next season. I don't feel amazing about Tua, but opening up the cap space like we just did shows this is a serious team that wants to be a legitimate contender going into next season. They want to push the Buffalo Bills for the AFC East crown. They want to push beyond the first round of the playoffs. They want to see what they can do. I like it. I love the aggressiveness. We are less than a week away from free agency officially starting. And it should be a fun time to be a Miami Dolphins fan. We've seen a few off seasons come and go and be impressed at what the Dolphins have done. It feels like the last 3 off seasons, there's been a good feeling around the team. And last year with a 3-0 start, leading the entire AFC, about halfway through the year, number 1 in the AFC East race. I think we can do that again. I think we can get to the playoffs. I think we can win some playoff games. And if we make the right signings, if we bring in Bobby Wagner, if we get another secondary piece, if we get another running back, if we get another receiver, we get a solid backup quarterback, I think we can push the Bills and have a legitimate case for the AFC East. It will concern me a bit if the Jets do go out and get Aaron Rodgers, or if the Patriots move off Mac Jones for somebody who's a little more athletic, a little bit more dynamic. That will concern me. But the Dolphins are doing their part to compete in a already pretty good AFC East. Clearing up this cap space gives us fresh opportunities to bring in new players to the team, and got a week till that starts. If there's anybody in particular you'd like to see the Miami Dolphins target in free agency that in these next few days you'd like to hear us talk about, let me know down below. Please make sure to like, subscribe. Thank you all very much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.